on the private borewells? Because what is happening that today, if you have a borewell in your house, you feel that you are the richest man on this earth, and and you use the water in the most abusive way. Where 1 liter is required, you will use 10 liter. Now, by doing so, you are using more groundwater, you are consuming electricity unnecessarily, and not only that, you are adding to the sewerage load of the city. When it goes to the sewer treatment plant, a huge cost is involved in that. And I just float the idea that is it possible that even in a private borewell, you are the owner of borewell, no doubt about it, but fix a meter. Let us see how much water you are consuming and some nominal charges. Why a person should pay only for the surface water? Because after all, water is a water. It's a natural resource, whether it is flowing on the surface or whether it is coming from the underground. So that is another thing which I wanted to highlight at this point of time. And then he also discussed about the decentralized treatment plant and centralized treatment plant. But wonderful job you have taken. But I personally feel that when you are going for a rejuvenation of a river in the city, it is not only you are doing for your own city. So you have to be very clear that for whom you are going to do. Even if you don't do anything, it will create problem for you, but it is creating more problem for the people living downstream. You are virtually killing their resources. And one thing is extremely important, that when we come to the issue of recycle and reuse of water versus the water living in the natural streams to be available as a resource to the downstream cities. I think some discussion should happen on this aspect also. Like why I'm telling this thing, in any interstate river water dispute, whatever is allocation is done for the urban area, 80% of that is supposed to flow back to the downstream estate. And if we start using 5 times that water, how the downstream estate is going to react, or whether it is going to accept. It is going to be an issue. Today it is not an issue, but in future these are the issue. So wonderful presentation, and I think now we should move to the next presentation, which is from Nagpur by Mr. Shashikant Hastak and Mr. Arun Lakhani.
Good afternoon. I am Hastak, superintending engineer. I was involved in this 24/7 full city corner project. That's why I am here. So Nagpur, as you know, is the second capital of Maharashtra. Is known for Orange City. Its area is around 225 square kilometer, and the population is 2.25 millions. We started. What is the roadmap we have selected for implementation of 24/7? We started with water audit. Then we implemented a pilot for improvement in SLB, service level benchmark. Then we prepare a full city rehabilitation plan and O&M strategy for sustainability. So we started with the technical efficiency, as well as now we resorted to reforms in the administrative side. That is rationalization of the tariff and billing collection, consumer management, and slum policy for water supply. Under technical efficiency, we implemented number of projects under JNNURM, from raw water, pumping stations, distribution. This was the status before the reforms, and before the losses were around to the 60% non-revenue water. The input to the system was around 600 MLD, and the recovery was up to only for 200 MLD. So after the implementation of partial reforms and excluding 24/7, this has improved to 240 MLD recovery, and we realized that the augmentation in the water supply is not the answer to all the challenges, and it's a regular augmentation will improve the input of water, but there is no improvement in the sales of water, and the losses in the distribution system offset the gains in the gains of augmentation. So on the basis of this, we decided to go in for performance-based management contracts rather than EPC contract. And then we have introduced the PPP to address the challenges of integrated water supply management. To start with, we have first, as the sir was saying, there was no tariff revision since 2000, and we implemented our first reform in tariff revision in 2008, after the 8 years. And that is during the timing was, it was just during the pilot project implementation. So there was no tariff revision. The tariff revision implemented before the entry of the private operator of full city contract with the following objectives. There was no tariff revision since 2000. Tariff revision to meet the operating expenses and the part of the capex. Telescopic tariff to promote water conservation. Affordable supply for the lifeline volume. Subsidized supply for the consumption within the norms, and premium rates for consumption higher than the raw norms. Tariff flexibility to cope up with ever increasing energy and raw water tariffs, which constitute almost 40% of the total cost. Owing to the inbuilt provision, we made an inbuilt provision to pass on the increase in the input cost of raw water, because raw water we are getting from the government of Maharashtra, and energy from the MSEB, Maharashtra State Electricity Board, directly to the consumers as surcharge. Then we also diverted from the practice of always going to the general body, this autonomy of tariff fixation and minimum 5% increase in the tariff every year. And thanks to our political bosses, they have given this, they delegated these powers of minimum 5% increase in the tariff to our commissioners. All tariff related issues of the consumers, we will address all the issues before the entry of the private operator. So this tariff was, earlier it was only ₹5 rupees per unit. In 2008, we shifted to ₹8 per unit. But due to strong public resistance, we rolled back the tariff. There were 30 writ petitions in the High Court from the public side, NGOs, that the tariff was too high and the corporation is indulging into lot of bad practices in the tariff. But we successfully defended our tariff structure in the High Court. But again, on the insistence of the political side, we rolled back the tariffs from 8 rupees to 5 rupees. But now there is but after that there is an increase of 5% every year. So that now it is around 720. So these are the key requisites for a water W24/7 water supply initiative. One is we have the sustainable source, we have the adequate supply. The Honorable Minister said there is a political willingness, there is a political ownership for the project. Then we put in the policies required to implement 24/7, the slum connections, disconnections, connection fees, tariff, bylaws amendment. Infrastructure is from the private operator was supposed to manage from source to the consumer, up to the consumer meter. So this is under JNNURM, and management by the private operator. This was the holistic approach. The policy bylaws is in the domain of public, management is by private. Infrastructure, there is a partnership of ULB with the private. 30% is being invested, ULB component is being invested by the private operator. This is the arrangement. There is an asset holding company. This is an institutional reform. We have for the implementation of 24/7. This was the institutional reform of a 100% owned company, water company, NESL, and there is a private operator, special purpose company, that is OCW, Orange City Water. Now this company is established with the features. All assets ownership is continued to be owned. All assets continued to be owned by ULB, Nagpur Corporation. transfer of assets to this company for operation and maintenance and management only. Water charges will continue to be decided by ULB. Apart from water supply, the company can take up the work of sewage disposal and solid waste management in future. So NMC introduced this PPP to address the challenges of integrated water supply management, starting with the demo zone, then improvement of the water treatment plants, water distribution monitoring, meter replacement. These are the annuity contract, the deferred payment contracts with the operation and maintenance for next 5 to 7 years. And this was the water reuse for power plant. This is 130 crore. The wastewater is made available to the thermal power station. That's Honorable Minister mentioned in the morning that NMC's revenue every year is around 15 crores, and all the investment is being done by the Mahajan Co. So the assets are being developed at no cost to the ULB. Now this is the PPP for city-wide water supply. NMC general body passed a resolution for the city water 24/7 water supply, and a PMC was appointed. DPR was prepared, and then we got the approval from the JNNU RM in 2009. Then the ring fencing of the water supply from the other accounts of Nagpur Municipal Corporation by forming a company, and the bid process initiated with the request for qualification in 2008, and the contract was awarded in 2011. Because this was a long procedure, PPP contract, financial closure and everything, and the contract was awarded to the consortium of Veolia India and Vishwaraj Infrastructure. This was the features of the PPP agreement. This was a 25-year performance-based management contract, extendable for another 25 years. First 5 years, the operator is responsible for O&M of the existing network and rehabilitation of the network, O&M of the water supply system for next 20 years, revenue and collection risk loaded on the operator's performance to be monitored against the performance parameters, and remuneration based on the metered volume that is billed and collected. The operator's rate is de-linked with the tariff. Operator has to improve the efficiency, water supply operations to before he starts his profit. These are the full city SLB service level benchmark targets for PPP. This coverage of the water supply, continuity of the supply, extent of metering of water connections. In the first 10 years, he has to reduce the losses from 60% to 40%, less than 40% in the 5 years, and again up to 20% in the next remaining years. The pilot was implemented for 15,000 connections, including slum areas. There were 10 slum areas. The contract was to study, rehabilitate, management contract with private operator, and the results expected were the main features were 100% metering, rehabilitation of the tertiary network. Only 32% of the network was replaced, and the area was converted into 24/7 water supply. The 24/7 full city contract, we have already completed progress of 75% physical progress, with over 434 kilometer out of 560 kilometer of pipeline replaced. Delays in the provision of house service connection due to protest against the imposition of the connection charges. As against the target of 3,21,000 connections, about 75,000 connections have been completed. NMC passed a resolution. These are the policies evolved considering the difficulties in the implementation of the 24/7 contract. We passed a resolution of waiving connection charges for all connections in July 2014. Round-the-clock call center with a toll-free number set up to address the consumer grievances